There's a lot I want to touch on this album because it took me a while to listen through the whole thing and then re-listen to it and then try to ponder everything that I listened to. Okay. Let's delve in. Scorpion is the newest album released by Drake. Yes, I'm finally getting around to this one. I know, it's been a while, but I felt like I needed to review this album because there was something special about it that made me really want to look into it. I'm sure everyone else has shared their thoughts on it, but it's my turn. Let's do this. So this is technically 2 albums, one music project. I guess it's supposed to be like a back-to-back CD. But that's fine. I don't mind an album that's that long. It's, 12 and 13, so 25 tracks total. I don't mind that at all. It's just, forcing yourself to sit down and want to listen to the whole thing, to enjoy it, and then make sure you can also review everything, making sure you get a thorough review for yourself, and that you have enough information that you want to share in these videos. So not a lot of people are doing this these days, and I understand why, but I also can understand why you would want to make something a lot longer. This isn't really necessarily something I'm getting used to anymore. I come to find that the more albums I review, the more I like the 10 to 12 and 13 tracks on one CD. But I mean, if you're going to put a CD with tons of tracks, I would hope that there would be enough content that I would enjoy. Same with an EP. If you're going to have just very few, I hope that I like more than not. So, I'm going to find the right balance here, I guess. One thing I would like to say about Drake is, very interestingly, when I was listening to this album, you've heard this in all my other hip-hop reviews, I'm not a fan of using slurs or curses and things like that, but, if Drake just replaced one of those words, there's a very specific one that apparently I'm not allowed to say, if you know what I mean, most of that album would actually be mostly clean. If people just said, like, fellas, for example, that would work out. Strong lyricists, we can eliminate those words. And I mean that for every genre. We can eliminate words that we don't need and that do taint music. Basically, the simplified version of what I'm trying to say is that I guess if I had a clean version or like radio edited version of this album, I probably would have it and listen to it, on occasion, because I was very intrigued by a lot of the messages in each song. Some of the songs have similar messages, but they don't try to be too similar. There's a lot of themes and topics that Drake tries to stick to, and they can all kind of be bundled together, but I don't feel like they'd mesh. I feel like we would get a single one, and we could align them on their similarities, line for line and things like that. But all the songs seem to birth from a different scenario or a different story or a different time period that Drake has experienced. So since this album is so long, yes, the lyrics did suffer a little bit in the ratings portion, but the production on this album, for a very good chunk of this album, is surprising. And, like, I can be very proud of the production that was put into this. So, man, you must spend hours making sure that it sounds good with your producers. If you're doing some of the production yourself, all this other good stuff, like, man, most of these songs, I'm just like, yeah, you have an ear for that. And these sounds work with each other. They do not clash. There's something right about it. Because there's so many songs, I have a very hard time trying to decide what I want to highlight. So hold on, let's just double check this. I did note that Emotionless was very interesting. A lot of the lyricism was kind of connecting to me. I wrote down truth spitting. I also marked Summer Games. That would be a great late night song. You say I led you on, but you follow me. I follow one of your friends, you unfollow me. You know, Pondering. I really like songs that I can just play in the car driving late at night, whether I'm trying to arrive somewhere or going back somewhere, or I just want to drive. And if you've listened to him a lot this year, you probably have heard a lot of his hits that he's had, which include God's Plan, In My Feelings, that one I enjoy a lot. Also, Don't Matter to Me. And he got vocals from Michael Jackson for this song. That's awesome. In all the ways that hopefully can be respected in that aspect, because, come on, it's MJ. Wow. That one was pretty good. There's just so much that can be said. Drake's one of those guys who, I know he's a rapper. I know that he can sing in, you know, his range of singing. I like the guy. I also like the musician. Separating that there are different sides of hip hop. And I really grasp onto his. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like that a lot. It's just funny to think of it that way. I don't know this for sure, but this might be my highest rated mainstream hip-hop album, on this channel at least. So after having listened and reviewed this album, with production of 87%, creativity 74%, expression and lyrics 53%, I'm going to give this album a good. There are way too many things that I took away from this thing musically that, I couldn't just give it a below average grade, but there are those things that I wish I could take away from it or mute on it, and I would want to highlight that for certain people who are a little closed-minded to this kind of genre, because there's something that he does that's right, and I have my interests, he has his, and he's probably not gonna switch it around for that, but I have my opinion and I'm voicing it here, so there it is. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, remember to do all you need to do on the social media platform here so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time. I've gradually, over the last few years, got kind of a more old-school hip-hop idea. I still stick to some of my 90s and early 2000s kind of beats that I liked growing up, or that I grew to like. That's another story. But yeah, very, very fun.